A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome to the tournament. In-season tournament time for the Venom Truck Series for the first time ever. And also, we get to celebrate a birthday. It's the JKay's Birthday Bonanza 180, presented by the VenomCast, Season number 9, Round number 6 of the Venom Truck Series here. Soon to be under the lights at Iowa Speedway. Welcome into continued coverage of the VTS here on Turn 200. It's Tommy Cook. It's Matt Williamson. As always, partner, Iowa Speedway. Personal favorite of mine. It's a favorite of the channel. Not sure where you stand on it, but you've seen it in action plenty of times up to this point. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's produced some good ones. It's also produced some less good ones, but still interesting, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on what the drivers bring here tonight, but I mean, we always have good stuff here on Tuesdays, so I don't think there's any reason that we shouldn't feel like we're going to get another good one here tonight, especially if we can get some green flag running. Typically, you know, the way that this track eats tires and the different lines and things that you can run ends up being a pretty good race typically.
Well, after round number 5 last week at Kansas, the points tightened up pretty dramatically. Let's take a look at them here. After Matt Schlosser had his first real stumble this season, he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, he really is. And that is going to allow Chad Stearns to get to the top of the points. And you're going to see Schlosser because they are very, very tight for the points right now. I don't know this many races in. I mean, we're a third of the way through the regular season. I don't know if we've ever had points this tight among, the entirety of the chase drivers, basically. So this is going to be a very interesting season. But Chad Stearns sits there at the top. Zach Lockett has taken over second. Hayden Palumbo sits there in third. JKay and Matt Schlosser are actually tied for fourth. Then you have Kyle Zittel and Luke Peterson tied for sixth. Josh Freed, Brantley Gainey, and Jeremy McKinnon are currently your 10 drivers that would be in. Jan Van Leer, Andy Poliski are very close behind the cut line. And then you have Brody Gunter, Josh Matichek, and Austin Holyfield rounding out your top 15. But to me, it's pretty unbelievable that this is the field and how close they are at this point in the season.
It's worth pointing out Brody Gunter has missed 2 races this season, so that's a provisional minus an additional race. So he will tighten up to the cut line as he continues to run races. Jeremy McKinnon also tonight, I believe the direct quote was, "I'm dropping out." I don't know why he's Scottish all of a sudden, but he will not be here tonight, so he'll be out of the top 10. And that also puts him out of the championship, the in-season title, that is, for the Car Inside tournament. Originally, he was going to be in there. He has been stricken from the lineup. Battles. Keep track of your favorite driver. The 1 seed, JKay, now up against the 16 seed, which is now Paul Sargent as of about 5 minutes ago. Hayden Palumbo, the 2 seed, versus Chad Stearns, the 15 seed. That'll be very good. Kyle Zittel, the 3 seed, against Eric Breeding, the 14 seed. Jan Van Leer in the 4 seed versus, I believe, Cole Maxwell in the 13 seed. Is that right? 13? I don't know. We'll check on that. Brantley Gainey, the 5 seed, versus Andy Poliski, the 12 seed. Rodney Matney, the 6 seed, versus Garrett Rainey, the 11 seed. Josh Freed in the 7 versus Zach Lockett in the 10. That's teammates squaring off there. And Brody Gunter in the 8 seed versus Greg Bradshaw in the 9 seed. And yeah, that was Cole Maxwell in the 13 seed, and he does well here at Iowa historically. So that's a couple of teammate battles there spread out in this field, and that's going to make things even more exciting here tonight. It is time for the birthday bonanza for the JKay gaming man himself. And with the pole position here tonight, it's his first career Venom Truck Series pole. Matt Schlosser, formerly the points leader, now going to lead the field to green. To his outside, the pole sitter from the last 2 weeks, Brody Gunter, now will be on the outside pole. Jan Van Leer had a rough week, turned into a fantastic week. Last week, he'll start in third. Luke Peterson will start to his outside, needing to bounce back. Tyler Logan will round out your top 5 starters with Hayden Palumbo now to his outside. It is Andy Poliski and Joshua Matichek on row number 4. Josh Freed, Zach Lockett, teammates and battlers there on row number 5. Garrett Rainey, very fast in practice, 11th in qualifying. JKay, his teammate, will start to his outside. Rodney Matney, Austin Holyfield on row 7. It's Steve Roman. Jordan Journeau is back in the lineup today, and he'll start in 17th, or rather in 16th. It is Greg Bradshaw and Chad Stearns way back there in 18th. He is a previous winner here in the Venom Truck Series at Iowa. Kyle Zittel, Brantley Gainey going to round out your top 20 starters. Gary Clark also back tonight in 21st. Eric Breeding will start in 22nd. Leo Smith, Josh Jack, 4th. Cole Maxwell, Paul Sargent, 25th and 26th. Pascal Simard and Tyler Berger. That is 28 drivers in the lineup tonight. Matt, I just realized I did not update the race script for you, but you can pretty much guesstimate here. We're going 180 laps here tonight at Iowa Speedway. We'll start with the weather conditions as always, though.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a peek at the weather. And part of the track is in shade right now, so pretty cool temperature. 75 degrees is the track temperature. The drivers are going to like that here. No doubt about that. As Tommy mentioned, 180 laps I would expect us to just try and break this race into thirds more than likely. They can make it quite a ways on fuel, but yeah, I think breaking it into thirds, so 2 pit stops should this thing go green from here on out, or all the way through, I should say, I think is probably what the drivers are keeping their eyes on here. But our experience here at Iowa tells us that we definitely might not go green all the way through, so depending on where those cautions fall, it could definitely throw a wrench in some things here, so have to keep our eye on that. No fast repairs, as always, to get 3 extra sets of tires.
We did almost go caution-free here back in season number 5. That was the infamous text and drive gate for Nathan Reynolds. Jeff Langston, Chad Stearns, Brody Gunter, your 3 winners here in series history in seasons 4, 5, and 7. We average about 4 cautions a race and only 6 lead changes a race, so track position, very, very important. And the man with the best track position, he just lost the points lead. He would love to get it back here tonight and get his first oval win with the Venom Truck Series. Matt Schlosser in the 04 will lead the field to the green. Ooh, Andy Poliski really loose there on the bottom as Schlosser is up to cover off the 0-1 of Gunter. Jan Van Leer will take third away from Preach Peterson outright, and the 04 will lead the opening lap.
Like Vodacek might have gotten into the wall. Peterson now going to look underneath of Jan Van Leer, trying to take third away.
Oh, Jan basically in the wall there.
One down the track further back. And the Chiquita Bananas around in turn number 2.
It is a travesty. Eric Breeding around. We are still green as Breeding is going to try and get this back going. I think he's going to merge it right back up into traffic if he does bring it back up on the track. Lots of shuffling inside and just outside of the top 10. There's a lot to be sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, early laps on a fresh set of tires here at Iowa is very, very tough, and we were seeing the effects of it there, Breeding getting the worst of it, but other drivers struggling to manage that as well. They're going to
go for the lead.
They're going to like
Gunter,
it as it keeps coming to them, and Gunter's loving it.
Yeah, he just got Schlosser loose on the bottom, but Schlosser firing right back here. Gunter leads it across the line on lap number 4. It puts 5 up on the board. But Gunter the winner here last time over here in season 7. Still looking for that first dub on the season. Schlosser going to try and keep him in line. Meanwhile, further back, Palumbo fading. Jan Van Leer looking for a move. Is JKay looking for a move on Tyler Logan as well?
Yeah, Logan using the top side already. Kay trying to work the bottom.
This is John moving forward, already +4. This would put him up +5 since the drop of the green, just 5 laps to go. Oh, problems. Jordan Journeau is slow, but the caution is out as he has gathered it back up. So Journeau saves it. We're going to go under a caution here regardless. As we are tripping up hard.
Yeah, we almost had some melees under caution here. Well, let's take a look. This is Journeau coming off a 2. I think this happens in turns 3 and 4. Oh yeah, and Journeau. He had a big run on Matney, and he was trying to stay away from running Matney over and turn down the track just a little bit into Chad Stearns. It's a pretty good save there by Journeau to get out of the throttle. Let's watch it a little bit slower motion here. You see Journeau, that big run on the 83, was going to try and go to the bottom, but Stearns was there. And Kyle Zittel was the one that threw the caution. I could see why. He was right behind the 84 as the 84 was completely sideways on the racetrack.
Probably a little panicked.
So probably didn't need to be a caution, but there's an incident earlier that probably could have been, so we've evened them out.
Well, speaking of that incident, Eric Breeding is now back onto the lead lap. So he'll get the lucky dog. I do want to point out as well, Josh Jackson lagged out on the pace lap and never came back. So we started this race at 27. Matt Schlosser led the first 4 laps. Brody Gunter took it over after that and has led ever since. Hello to everybody in the chat. Chat's been popping off, but we have not really had a moment to catch our breath since we started. Hello to Ryan Dye on his drive to his sister state wrestling meet tomorrow. Best of luck to her. And thanks for checking in. Bailey Marie hanging out as Matacek is up a couple of positions from where he started. Lisa Kelly cheering on Tyler Burgert's. Burgert's been on pit road, so he is now all the way to the tail of the field. Hello to me, cheering on Brantley Gainey. Gainey is back up one from where he started. But Brantley back there in 19th. James Coleman cheering on Austin Holyfield. Holyfield is up 1 spot as well, just outside of the top 10. And Stickers McQueen cheering on Rodney Matney. Matney is down 1 from where he started. He got passed up by Austin Holyfield.
We have lots of drivers running car cameras here tonight as well.
All right.
Showcase a few of them here as we get the opportunity. Luke Peterson, Cole Maxwell running one here today. Don't see Cole on the cameras here too often.
Cole likes Iowa. He runs really well here, too.
And Maxwell is running VR. I think that's something a little bit new for him. Maybe the first league race or 2 with the VR, if I remember correctly.
So
John JKay running cameras as well. Of course, John JKay, the birthday bash here for JKay Gaming.
And he's been putting in the work here already. Up 5 spots, has an opportunity to get a few more. As Gunter leads the field back across the line. Lap number 11 on the board. It's a long way to go here as Peterson going to slide up. Palumbo will cross him up. Breach drove it in a bit deep there. May pay for it. We're getting the new version of Iowa here soon. We've still got the old one as we've got plenty of grip all over this track.
The 3 wide there in turn 3, further back there for a moment.
John Kay looking to go up another. We'll take it on Tyler Logan. Next up will be Joshua Monacek, who was on the VenomCast this week. Pretty good listen. And this race is sponsored by the VenomCast, so you should definitely go listen to it. Schlosser having a go again at Gunter for the lead. Behind them, Palumbo and Jan Van Leer side by side. JBL trying to get through to 4th. Not quite clear into 3, but sticking it right to the bottom of the track. They're going to go 3 wide again, further back, and Poliski will cover off Lockett to stop that from happening. But now he's side by side with the boss man of the Alabama gang, Garrett Rainey. Rainey down low. Rainey, for the longest time, was fastest in practice and then slipped down the leaderboard in the last couple of minutes. But he is fast, and he's showing it right now, up to 9th.
Matacek getting even with John JKay here as Kay continues to try and work his way forward.
Ronnie Matney, Josh Freed side by side further back. Lockett and Poliski side by side for a spot in the top 10. And Chad Stearns, Kyle Zittel side by side behind them. Still all clumped up here just outside of the top 10.
Yeah, we're 2 wide for a few rows here.
Topside prevailing there. How about that? Jordan Journeau going to get in on the action while the getting's good.
Yeah, as we get into this run deeper, it's going to be more difficult to hold your line there on the bottom and make it quick. You really have to be disciplined.
Speaking of discipline, Gunter holding a tight advantage over Schlosser. Not able to shake him, but not making any mistakes either.
Bobbing and weaving and bee-botting and scatting all over the place. Holyfield tried to get to the outside of Jorno. Now he's going to try and take the inside of the 84.
Logan and Rainey side by side ahead of them. Zittel and Matney side by side now as well, as Zittel will clear up on Matney just barely, and Logan will hang on to his position for now.
JKay trying to get around his teammate Hayden Palumbo. This would be a 7th spot gain for JKay if he can get it done. Kyle Zittel also up 7 spots so far.
Oh, Eric Breeding is slow down the backstretch again. And we are still green for now. Logan and Rainey side by side once more for 8th.
Logan has not left his top side. He about gets into the wall. That was close.
That was tight.
The 98 has not left that top groove all night long so far.
And Schlosser has not left Brody Gunter's immediate proximity either, as they are pulling away from Luke Peterson. Schlosser's not going anywhere. Inside a quarter of a second, just a couple of truck lengths as they come up on the 26 of Eric Breeding. Oh, Logan did get the wall that time, but Rainey was loose underneath him as well. So he's not able to take advantage. Zach Lockett might be the one to do it. Lockett second in the points coming into tonight. It has been a banner season thus far for the 93. Just looking for another solid top 10 run tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been ultra consistent, and that's what it takes. Now, the problem is once you get to the chase, it's a little bit less so. I mean, with 5 races in the chase, consistency is still going to get you somewhere, but it's certainly tougher. You're going to have some really top-tier finishes to be able to capture a championship.
Well, he just took over Garrett Rainey there pretty quick, and now Poliski will go to work on the 13. So Lockett, a couple weeks removed from his first podium with the Venom Truck Series, and again, having a fantastic season.
Kyle Zittel still making ground up on these two as well. Zittel is on the move right now.
Rainey looks like he's starting to struggle a bit, and he will
hit
Poliski behind his teammate Eric Breeding. As Breeding, up into the wall, trying to stay out of the way.
I'm pretty sure he's got some wheel damage that is not making that an easy drive.
No.
Here comes Chad Stearns.
Ooh.
Up underneath of Zittel. Might be 3 wide off the corner here. Not quite.
Rainey's starting to struggle down low. Zittel up to the wall. Looking for a big run on the boss man.
Yeah, that bottom line's going to start getting really tough to make speed here. As you see Rainey jump up now.
Stearns going to try his luck down low.
Not much of a surprise there from the 05. He's probably been saving tires. And he is the king of bottom feeding.
He wouldn't do that, would he? Does he ever have any long run speed?
Yeah, imagine that, right?
Certainly it's tougher to make this pass on the bottom, but he'll get it done this time on lap 28 and slides right up in front of Garrett there. And that is for 12th. Stearns trying to move forward after qualifying back in 18th. his former team owner, right in front of him there, Kyle Zittel. Also up the same amount of positions.
Josh Freed in the pink number 39 is trying to get himself clear on Rodney Matney. It was close, but he's able to get it done.
Freed, the points leader to begin the season for the first couple weeks. Slipped a little bit, but he's still top 10 in the points. Would love to get top 10 in the standings. And good news for him is there are a lot of trucks right in front of him. That will lead him to the top 10 if he's so able to get around him. Oh, Andy Poliski is all but wrecking down the backstretch. These trucks are a handful.
That allows Stearns to continue his big run here.
Oh,
man.
And he lifted for him, and now he's going to get turned for it. Zittel punting the 32. That's Matney involved. Journeau gets a piece of it, and we're under caution for the second time. It all bottled up on a tight slider there from the 05. Poliski lifts, and Zittel trying to peek underneath, making contact there and sending the Season 5 champion up into the wall.
I mean, that was an awkward incident. We'll take a look at the replay, but Poliski got checked up behind Stearns, and I think Zittel thought that Andy was content to kind of ride behind Stearns there, so Zittel was going to try and take a peek underneath, and as that was happening, Andy decided he didn't want to sit behind either.
Yeah, Zittel was quick with an apology, but that is 2 races in a row where Poliski has found himself with a lot of damage off the front bumper of someone else.
So watch as Stearns comes up the racetrack in front of Poliski here. I mean, I don't know if Poliski had to check up, but certainly
he did, for sure.
Definitely close. And then Zittel's going to try and take a peek underneath because he thinks Andy's going to stay behind the 05. And literally at the same time, Andy starts making his way down the racetrack. And Garrett Rainey miraculously makes it through, but the same cannot be said for Journeau and Matney there. We'll go back and look at it from Andy's point of view. As they're coming off a 4 here. He sees Chad down there. Oh, definitely had to back out of it. And just as he's going to make his way down to the middle line, Kyle Zittel behind him is doing the same. Let's take one more look. This time we're going to look at Kyle Zittel's point of view. And I have plenty of time because I'm assuming the caution laps are still messed up here at Iowa.
Probably.
Yeah, and Zittel, I mean, when Zittel pulled down, Andy was still behind Chad. And, I mean, just from the angle that Kyle had, he couldn't even really tell that Andy was making his way down the racetrack. Just a tough spot to be in there. So Andy is going to have pretty hefty repairs to try and get done here.
Yeah, Poliski, Matney, Journeau all on pit road right now. Journeau said over the radio he's got 5 minutes of damage. And, kind of undersold it a little bit, I think. I mean, the front end of his truck got up in the air, so, I mean, that was a hard shot for him, a harder shot for Matney, and the hardest shot for Poliski.
Over half the field came down pit road there to take tires.
Yep, only the top 9 stay down.
Yeah, and Steve Roman did come down on lap 7. I don't know if he took tires or not.
That's awfully early to take a set of tires.
I would assume not. I think that may have been fuel. We know that Steve Roman likes to play that fuel game and might have been putting a little extra in to see how long he could stretch it.
So caution number 2 coming to the restart here on lap 36. Top 9 are on older tires. Gunter, Van Leer, Zittel, Matichek, Rainey, Holyfield, Vroman, Bradshaw, and Gary Clark in 9th. Matt Schlosser pitted from second, and he is now going to be intent on the freshies. Everybody else behind him in the same boat. Back it her way. Big checkups here on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, the 4th and 5th rows did not get very good restarts there. Maybe that was the 3rd and 4th rows. Either way.
Ooh, couple drivers loose on the fresh rubber, JKay included. Yeah, it is. Hands full. Tank swapper.
Yeah, right around the top 10. This is where we got to watch. Things are... Whoa, and Gary Clark up into the wall off of 4. 3 wide with JKay and Hayden Palumbo.
Towards the front.
Gary's losing out on some positions.
Yeah, he is going to drop pretty quickly here on the old rubber. Monacek and Zittel were side by side. Monacek will hang on to 3rd. As this is an absolute mess behind Steve Roman. 3 wide. Bradshaw up top, Kay in the middle, Palumbo on the bottom. And Bradshaw will start to head backwards.
Yeah, Bradshaw on old tires here as well.
Glosser picking his way through here pretty steadily.
Steve Roman on old tires. He's going to start
he's in the
his
wall.
way backwards. Yep, he touched the wall there. Oh, JKay.
Wow,
Not
that was
giving
close.
much room.
And Vroman up over the bumps there on the top side of the track. Very tricky in the truck. He manages it well. Kay and Palumbo going to continue to take the older tire drivers. 3 wide. Here is that's Holyfield into the wall.
Yeah, and Holyfield had to get way out of the throttle. He lost a ton of momentum. Going to lose a few positions as well.
He's up over the bumps. He hangs on to it as well.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy. Still 3 wide.
Look at this.
Older...
3 wide and still catching those in front of them.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, Matt Schlosser now, the driver with the freshest tires towards the front of the field, is past Jan Van Leer for second.
This is an accident waiting to happen.
Yes. There's not a doubt in my mind. Can go to another 5 laps or so, it'll be sorted out, but it's tough.
Glosser still has not gotten around Brody Gunter, who's on older tires. Glosser now going to look to the bottom. Gunter's going to try and block him. That is a bold move on old rubber.
Schlosser almost gave him a bumper there. He may do it if Gunter does it again.
Yeah, I mean, Schlosser is not one to really ruffle feathers or do anybody
I think
wrong.
I've seen it one time, and he's probably done close to 100 races on the channel at this point.
I mean, Gunter is kind of cutting his nose off nearly. If Gunter would have kept coming down, I don't think Matt was going to give it to him. The 01 smartly stays 1 lane up the racetrack.
Bolsitter is back on point. Schlosser to P1.
Zach Lockett working his way back through. He's on newer tires. Now Luke Peterson going to get underneath the 01. And we didn't really... I think we kind of understated the awkward spot that caution came out because we were watching replays. We didn't really get a chance to talk about it. I mean, that was like halfway through the run that I think those drivers were looking for. That's why we saw such the big split in strategy with some drivers staying out, a lot of drivers coming in. It was just a weird spot for that caution to come out, and anytime that happens and then the race continues to go green for a while, it really, I don't know, it just kind of puts a wrench in things. You just never know how things are going to turn out.
Yeah, this pit lane is at such an angle that you really have to commit to coming down under the caution. And it really did look like Gunter was going to come down pit road. It didn't look like your standard pump fake. He kind of second-guessed it or made a last-second decision to not come down. It was a pretty aggressive move away from pit entry.
So Gunter continues to move backwards here.
Lockett up into the door of the 0-1. That's not going to help matters. But that is for 6th.
Tyler Logan's up next here in the 98. Then we're going to go back to a couple of drivers that are on the same strategy now. We have cameras for them, haven't shown them quite yet, so we'll give it to you now. That's Josh Matichek and Kyle Zittel here in the 60 and the 53.
Both on the older tires, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, they sure are. Josh Freed's coming up on the newer tires there in the 39. I'm interested to see how far they try and take this set and how far they can make it on fuel after a couple of caution periods. I would assume they're still just trying to make it a little bit over lap 60. Maybe try and get to 65 if they can. I mean, they don't have too far to go to get there. Man, you see Kyle Zittel must be really cranking the wheel. His camera is bouncing up and down on his desk or wherever it's positioned. He is working that thing here.
It's the Wisconsin wiggle.
And these three continue to battle very tightly. Freed finally making his way to the bottom. Should be able to get clear of Matichek.
Jordan Journeau and Ronnie Matney have both re-entered the race. Andy Poliski has retired. So that will give Brantley Gainey admission to round number 2 into the car inside in-season tournament. So Brantley could breathe a little easier.
Side-by-side battling outside the top 10. That is Paul Sargent and Austin Holyfield. Sargent's going to get the best of the 10 for now. Whoa, Gainey and Rainey. Close quarters. We almost got a Gainey versus Rainey in-season tournament battle. Unfortunately, that was robbed from us.
That's Jeremy's fault, and I'll never forgive him.
And I was looking forward to the loser has to change their name and leave town battle, but we'll save it for another day. Oh, and Gainey got up into the wall. Ooh, man. Oh, Paul Sargent up into the 13.
Oh, boy, Garrett getting used up here.
Yeah, Garrett's
Not
on
a good feeling.
Garrett's on older tires trying to hang on. These drivers coming through. Most of them are on fresher rubber, but not all of them.
And Garrett was struggling a bit before we got under this caution as well. It surprised me that he stayed out.
The Matichek on the older tires, he's starting to slip back here as well as Gainey gets underneath.
It makes more sense why Joshua may be going for it here and swinging for the fences. He's been pretty vocal about how he's not been very happy with how his season is going, but he just may have saved the whole season right there. That was an impressive save.
When that truck started to turn back to the right, I thought for sure he was going hard into the wall and his night was going to be over. That was an unbelievable save from the 60.
Every single corner of that truck was pointed every single different direction on that save. That was incredible. But he'll continue to fade back nonetheless.
He's got to get the heartbeat down before he makes this green flag pit stop now.
I'm going to say he may have just ripped those shoulders and elbows out of that suit. We may have to check on him.
Here's JKay and Hayden Palumbo. They've been very, very close for at least the last 10 laps or so. Palumbo finally getting a look underneath.
I mean, they've been close for about 60 laps to this point. Once Kay made his way up the running order to catch the 54, they've not really left each other's side. And look who is lurking behind.
Yep, I was just about to say it. The one person you don't want to see in your mirror when you're battling somebody is Chad Stearns.
The Jaws music playing. Robin impressed by the save from Joshua Monachek there. Absolutely. Hayden going to keep trying to lunge here on the bottom. It's Alabama getting 2, 3, 4 for now. Oh, there's one around. That was Gary Clark on the bottom of the backstretch. I think we're still green.
They've run enough laps that this top side is sticking pretty even with the bottom right now. See Palumbo edging out just a little bit, but kind of slipped up on exit there.
I thought Stearns was going for it there. But the middle's wide open this time.
And we're past lap 60 now, so be curious to see. Whoa! Palumbo tried to slide up in front of John. Might be able to do it this time. And he does. Okay, you gonna give him the bumper.
That's
Boy,
an
John
interesting place to
sails
push
it off
there.
into 3.
Looking for a big run, looking for a crossover. He's got room down in front of Stearns. Chad's got to be loving this. These two are driving each other into the ground.
Yeah, I'm sure
he's
Chad
just
is
hanging.
sitting. Yeah, he's hanging back, trying to save a little bit of tire here. He's going to blow by him here in the next 15 laps, maybe just right now.
About 15 feet. Stearns,
He heard the call.
I think so. Well, this is the battle we should have had last week. But Chad with problems getting onto pit road at Kansas after dominating that race. JKay takes the win over Hayden Palumbo. And now these three are in a different order. Running 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So Stearns struggles to get past JKay there. Interesting.
Well, it may take him 15 laps. I don't know. You've been more of a soothsayer recently. You've put a lot of things in motion.
I guess I've just been studying a little bit more. It comes a little bit more naturally.
Wow. You'll have to teach me your ways.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I don't think that ever works. Whenever you and I race together these days, it typically doesn't go well for one of us. We just can't put it together at the same time.
No.
So those drivers that have not been down pit road still have not come down. I thought they would have. Just a few laps, maybe around 65 is kind of what I was thinking, but they are stretching these tires out pretty darn far.
They can make it up, I would say with the cautions, they can almost make it to lap 100 on fuel. It's just a question of if you want to. My answer to that would be an emphatic no.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, just the tire wear, I was thinking that they were going to still break it pretty evenly into thirds. Come in a little bit after lap 60, maybe get a couple of 55 lap runs in or something like that, but they're going to stretch these out, try and give themselves some shorter runs here, it seems like. Okay, and Stearns going
birthday
back to
boy
battle
getting worked
again.
over. Oh, Paul Sargent just had a massive save as well. He got tangled up there with Kyle Zittel battling for 12th. Paul got some love on the VenomCast this week from Luke Peterson. He named him Venom's sexiest driver.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the gentleman Paul Sargent. Gunter and
Logan.
Logan.
And Freed.
Gunter's
all
held
stacked
pretty
up.
well.
Yeah, him, Jan Van Leer, who is maybe the king of not taking tires. He's not far behind them either. He's sitting there in 10th. Loves himself a short track race. This isn't quite the Jan Van Leer-esque short track race that we've come to know and love, but it's getting down close to there.
It's not quite a Thompson or Martinsville or North Wilkesboro, but it is a short track. And Jan's been on the up and up the last couple of weeks. I think just by way of Jeremy McKinnon not being here tonight, he should be in the top 10 in the standings at night's end. Here comes the pass for Chad Stearns. I think he's finally going to make it stick. Not quite sure if it was 15 laps or not, but JKay not done battling yet regardless. He'll swing back down low, trying to regain this 4th spot.
Battle between Freed and Gunter still rages on further back as well. Oh, Logan super loose right there behind him.
And Stearns able to clear JKay. He's lost a 1.5 seconds to Hayden Palumbo. So he's got work to do to track down the 54 for 3rd.
I guess I might be wrong here. These drivers might be going for a one-stop race. Trying to get to just past lap 90 and take it home from there. That's not at all what I thought was going to happen, but it seems like it might be the case.
With the amount of cautions that we've had, lap 85, lap 90, that might very well be what some of these drivers are shooting for.
It does seem like the tires are kind of evening out as this run goes along. I mean, the drivers that have stayed out are now on 80-lap old tires nearly, and those that came down to lap 32 are approaching 50 laps. But lap times pretty similar. I mean, Brody Gunter ran a 24.5. Matt Schlosser, who's in the lead, ran a 24.48, so pretty close lap times here for pretty big tire difference.
Peterson under fire from Palumbo for 2nd. Hayden's taking a couple stabs at it. He's got some time to play with. Back to Chad Stearns. Peterson stumbles a bit there on the top side of turn 2, and it may allow Palumbo to drive it in deep here into 3 and slide up in front of his teammate.
See if Peterson can take a shot back at him or not. He decides not to. Well, now Peterson going to run down low.
Interesting. So it's now a 4-second gap from Schlosser back to Palumbo. Schlosser multiple tenths quicker out front, but maybe now that Palumbo's got some cleaner air, he could try and track down the race leader.
Oh, Freed and Gunter make contact off of turn number 2 with Gary Clark coming in right behind him on fresher tires.
Gunter trying to save his race. If it's going to go green from here on out, he's going to be in an interesting spot. So he has been fighting tooth and nail to hang on to every second and every position.
And Greg Bradshaw struggling with the looseness on his truck out of 2 and down the backstretch. He's approaching Garrett Rainey here with Austin Holyfield right behind them. All 3 of these drivers have yet to come down pit road this race.
Couple laps for Palumbo in second, and he is still losing time to Matt Schlosser, who is even running in and out of lap traffic here. Just got past Eric Breeding and Tyler Bergert. Stern's making some ground on Luke Peterson, and John Kay is not too far behind this 05 as well. And Ryan Dye says he was robbed of Venom's sexiest driver. There's always next season. That's my motto every season. I mean, Blake Shelton was people's sexiest man one year. I've got to have a shot at Venom's sexiest driver.
I think you have to race more than just one race a year to be eligible for that award.
I don't think so. Why do you think I raced this season?
Get Cole Maxwell some TV time here in the 69 truck. He's up a few positions from where he started.
And I think we're going to set our pit stops in motion. Greg Bradshaw trying to get down to pit road, nearly spins it out. He may have a commitment line violation, but he is down pit road regardless, and I think our green flag pit cycle is beginning.
Yeah, a bit earlier than I expected, but trying to get a bit of an undercut going here. I would assume, I think even these drivers that have stayed out for quite a while are going to try and take it a little bit further past 90, past lap 90, I should say, but just as we say that, Austin Holyfield is now down pit road.
So we are set in motion. And no penalty for Bradshaw, to point out.
See if Steve decides to come in. No, he's going to stay out. Oh, man, Matichek keeping the hammer down loose off of 4, but it's going to give him the opportunity to get around the 0-0.
Garrett Rainey down pit road. Again, these are all the drivers that stayed out under the most recent caution. Brantley Gainey through on his boss, Jan Van Leer.
Ooh,
Jan going to cross him up. They were both loose.
Drivers are starting to duke it out here.
Oh, we got one around, and I think it's Bradshaw on the fresh tires. But he's down on the flat, down to the back stretch. Will stay green.
Kyle Zittel and Josh Matichek have found each other yet again. It's funny how the runs come and go, and you still find yourselves together. Whoa, man. Behind them, Vroman just about got into it with Jordan Jorno, who's back out on the racetrack.
Jan Van Leer is in. Cole Maxwell is in.
We'll see how these two drivers respond that we're watching right now. I think they're both coming in as well, and they are.
Matichek and Zittel, pretty tidy.
So that makes everybody except for Brody Gunter. And here
and
comes
he's coming
the
right now.
01.
Right on cue.
Yep.
Has he asked you to crew chief yet?
No. I don't think he wants that. I was publicly berated on a broadcast for taking 2 tires, and it was necessary because it ended up being a very stupid move on my part. So if I'm making moves like that in my own race car, I don't think anybody wants me telling them what to do.
Kyle Zittel, too fast exiting.
Man, there have been some struggles on pit road for some of these drivers this season.
And for once, it's not any one particular driver. It's been pretty spread across the field.
And exiting's... And I wonder if it has to do with... We didn't get to see the pit exit, but sometimes you're distracted by somebody in front of you. You're trying to keep pace with them, and you just kind of let it slip over the speed limit just a little bit. He came in with Matichek. I'm wondering if he was a little focused on the 60.
Yeah, they came out side by side as well, but he was on the outside. Normally, I would think if you would get a speeding penalty, you'd be on the inside cutting through that curve. But it was on the outside, so I think your theory may be correct that he was watching the 60 and not watching the gauge. Here comes Paul Sargent in. Paul having a solid night, to point out.
So that makes Sargent, I think, the first driver that came down on lap 32 to be in down pit road. We'll see how far these drivers are going to stretch it. I don't think they need to take it a whole lot further.
Josh Freed just got through on Zach Lockett for 6th. And Matt Schlosser has stretched the lead to 5 seconds over Hayden Palumbo. Steve Roman says he's coming this time. He's in 10th, so we may start to see these drivers coming in for what could very well be their final scheduled stop of the night. Or for what should be their final scheduled stop of the night.
Steve was the driver that we don't believe took tires his first time down. He came down on lap 7, I believe, for fuel only. So I guess technically he's still on the same tire strategy as those drivers that came down a few laps ago as well. So he's really the last one to come down that had not taken tires yet.
Well, that still may trip the alarm for some of the drivers that were running around him regardless. Let's give a call to some of the drivers right now on the alternate, I guess the dominant alternate strategy, if you will. Pascal Simard running in the top 10 right now, Team 200 driver. Tyler Burgert right now running in P11. Good to see them towards the top 10. But they are getting used up by these drivers who are on the fresher tires. Last lap for Brody Gunter was a 23.68. Last lap for Matt Schlosser was a 24.67. So just about a second faster. Personal best laps pumping up left, right, and center for these drivers on the fresh rubber.
Now, one of them that just turned one was Paul Sargent, who's getting past Greg Bradshaw. That's for position. This pass on Brantley Gainey is not.
Hayden Palumbo going to pit from second this time. That's the call over the radio. And John Kay, I think, calling for Luke Peterson as well. And Chad Stearns will follow him in as well. So it's second, third, and fourth, all in. John Kay stays out.
We've seen John Kay play the long game a lot more recently than we did or have in seasons past.
Question is, when will Matt Schlosser make his way down pit road?
The thing about Matt is he's kind of in the driver's seat a little bit. He can kind of, I mean, he had a big enough lead over Palumbo that he could really kind of run his own strategy and not have to worry too much about those other drivers. But you obviously don't want to come in too late. As Palumbo's going to cycle up into the racetrack right behind Jan Van Leer and Kyle Zittel. And the pass on Jan Van Leer would be for position. Kyle Zittel had that penalty, so he's a lap down. And in fact, probably a couple laps down at this point. ...26 of our 27 drivers still out there on the track. Oh, boy. Nearly 3 wide there with Gainey, Siddle, and Palumbo. They're able to navigate it.
Tyler Logan in from 5th.
Good entry
Here we
there
go.
for the 98.
Lap 108. Matt Schlosser in from the lead, and he is
Whoa.
very aggressive.
That was a great entry.
If he
Slid
didn't
it
make time on Brody Gunter, he certainly made time on the drivers that were behind him.
Yeah, he slid it a little bit on the flat. You see Zach Lockett come in not nearly as quick on the apron there.
Schlosser wants this bad. He's been waiting for an oval win for a long time.
JKay's going to stay out to lead a lap here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just come in right after this.
Oh my
the
gosh, the
caution's out.
caution is out. You are kidding me.
Wow.
It's Paul Sargent in turn number 3, and that changes everything. Brody Gunter, to point out, I don't believe is on the lead lap. So that really is going to shake things up as they're checking up hard out of turn number 2. But Sargent, Paul Sargent, that is, will trigger the 3rd caution of the night. And Matt Schlosser will line up behind JKay, but again, he's already got the fresh rubber.
Yeah, JKay has to come down pit road here.
And I think Schlosser will be the lucky dog, if I'm not mistaken, or should be. Unless he was on pit road at the time of the caution, which he was, so it might be Brody Gunter.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know. I believe Gunter would be the lucky dog. Yep, there he goes.
Well, but again, Schlosser still has the fresher rubber than Brody Gunter, unless Gunter comes in to burn a set of tires right here, which is certainly possible. Let's go and take a look at what happened here while the rest of the drivers are coming down pit road.
Sure, and to your point, I don't see why Gunter wouldn't take a set of tires here. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Let's take a look. This is the 49 on fresher tires. Oh, and you see him get, oh man, absolutely pounds the inside wall. Oh, and I don't think he can turn. I think it completely destroyed the front end of the truck, and I don't think he had any control over any wheel inputs here. Take a look at it again coming out of turn number 2. We've seen lots of drivers get loose out of 2 here tonight already. Sargent just the latest victim of it. Massive hit to the inside wall. And you see him turning the wheel to the left, and the truck just will not turn. So he's trying everything. He's shifting up and down and trying to get this thing to turn some which way or another, and it just would not do it. So that is the incident that brings out the caution at a opportune time for some, very inopportune time for others.
Incredibly inopportune for Matt Schlosser in particular. Looks like 9 drivers going to be in position to take the wave around here. Schlosser, Lockett, Palumbo, Peterson, Stearns, Vroman, Rainey, Logan, and Simard. That's to get back on the lead lap. Multiple other drivers to get a lap back as well. And we are going to extend this caution. This is the 1 to go, but we're going to make it the 2 to go to make sure all these drivers can get back around to the tail of the field.
Yeah.
So,
oh man,
listen to this. These are the drivers that just hit all 7s. JKay, Josh Freed, Brantley Gainey, Tyler Bergert, Brody Gunter, now the lucky dog driver in 5th. The top 4 really just came up big time. But now what's interesting here is that Gunter just got the lucky dog, and since they extended this caution, he's going to have to go all the way to the tail behind all the drivers that just took a wave around, which is all but 4 drivers. So Gunter really didn't gain anything there other than a lap back. And I wish they would fix that, they being iRacing.
Yeah, I'm a little confused what's going on here because there's, like, Gary Clark is up here starting inside the top 10, but is multiple laps down. And the reason for that is I think all the wave around cars have to stay in the single line. Is that right?
Yes, they do. That is correct.
So that's why you
It's
see all the
tail end of the
drivers lined up
longest
on the
line.
bottom.
But the longest line is a conga line around half the distance of the track. So JKay now in control of this field. Josh Freed to his outside. Brantley Gainey, Tyler Bergert. And then Matt Schlosser in fifth with a whole bunch of lap trucks in between.
Oh, man, a couple of drivers getting really loose. They're off at 2 again. Still a lot of racing left here. I mean, this kind of seems like a late race restart, but it's really not. Lots of laps to go.
High urgency here for Matt Schlosser to get through this lap traffic as quickly as possible. And Greg Bradshaw demolishes the outside wall, and we're back under the caution. That thing snapped in an instant, and that thing is grenaded. And that is the caution the 04 may have needed, but certainly not what Greg Bradshaw was hoping for. That was a hard shot. And there's our average fourth caution.
And that is a kind of what I don't want to say it's what we expected, but with all the drivers near each other on a restart, fresher tires, on a track that is notoriously slippery, I feel like an incident out of 2 was just about guaranteed there. Let's take a look full speed. You see it start to go around.
I mean, it was instant.
And trying to make the correction, once you start sliding like that, you turn the wheel to the right, but you kind of have to get out of the gas. I'm curious if Bradshaw just kept his foot in it. We'll take a look at the in-car camera. Let's listen to the throttle inputs here for Bradshaw. He got out of the throttle. Did not keep his foot in it. He was trying to do what he could. That is just a tough corner on a restart that seems very, very chaotic.
We can listen to the throttle input just as long as we don't have to listen to the radio right now. Cole Maxwell's radio sounds like he's underwater. I wonder if that's because of the VR.
He's got a microphone right up to his mouth. Maybe it sounds like he's swallowing it a little bit.
Maybe not so much that as he is just drowning.
Could be drowning for multiple reasons.
Well, he is 1 lap down. Garrett Rainey is no longer 1 lap down. Drivers 16th, 17th, and 18th are the only drivers that are 1 lap down. That's Jan Van Leer, Austin Holyfield, and Cole Maxwell. So now Matt Schlosser with a 1 heat cycle disadvantage to the drivers in front of him. But to your point, we saw with Brody Gunter on that long run. Eventually, even though it's only a couple laps difference between these tires, that is important. But it does even out at some point.
Yeah, I think with the tires that close, it's probably going to even out pretty fast. Might take, I mean, might take 20 laps. But they did run. I mean, it's not like they ran a incredibly short run. It's not like it was just a 1 or 2 lap run. They ran 5 or 6 there.
The old scuff set. Bring back the scuffs.
I don't know why I'm just thinking about this, but I also want to point out that the Chiquita banana scheme might be it might be cursed at this point.
Well,
Corey Rutherford on Sunday crashed on, I think, the 2nd lap. Was that yesterday?
that was yesterday, yeah.
That was yesterday. He crashed on the 2nd lap.
Well, that was a
And-
Chiquita banana scheme, but this is the Chiquita banana scheme.
Well,
And it,
Eric
yeah.
crashed pretty early also.
yes. Here we go.
Look at that. Schlosser. Big dive.
3 wide.
At the,
That's
oh,
Berger up
Gainey in the
top, and
middle.
He gets shuffled out.
Schlosser
going
on
backwards.
the move.
I think Schlosser is not motivated. He is going for it.
Yeah, I think might have been close to a penalty there. I don't know if he dove down before the start-finish line or not. But that'll be a post-race penalty, and I don't think he really cares at this point.
No. He may be seeing Old Mother Red right now.
Well, he's going to be seeing Alabama red here in just a moment.
Just as long as he's not seeing the yellow. They were 3 wide behind him, and now they're still 3 wide behind him.
3 wide.
Schlosser through to P2. Gainey up top.
Man,
Stearns
we're trying
in the
to get-
middle. Ooh.
Thought we were trying to get 4 wide there for a moment.
Stearns will take them
Certainly would not
both.
have worked.
The hole was open, but Lockett and Gainey will close it, so Palumbo will have to find a way through. Because I think Gary Clark just blew up on pit road, and that's going to be the end of his race. As Gainey way up the track, way out of the throttle. He'll lose it to Lockett and to Palumbo, and maybe to Luke Peterson here as well. Shout out to the Flinkster in the chat as well. Yes, wrecking does definitely hurt your chances of victory. Unless you're Brody Gunter.
Yeah, Brody Gunter's working his way through the field rather quickly here.
That caution helped him out a lot as well. But he still lost a bunch of positions that, quite frankly, he shouldn't have due to some bad coding. He'll get his elbows out here, or keep his elbows out, I guess. Underneath Gainey, underneath Peterson. He's got the 22 cleared. Ooh, boy. Schlosser trying to reel in JKay. He's got him to 0.3 of a second. But the advance is stalled just a bit. Garrett Rainey with a big block on Jan Van Leer, and Jan sliding through turn number 4. It's Tyler Bergert fighting back to the outside of the 44. That's just outside of the top 10. Still lots to be settled from 11th on back.
Yeah, and Jan's still trapped a lap down. He's fighting to be the first driver a lap down. To try and get the lucky dog should a caution fly. But at the rate that they're fighting back there, he might be a reason for the caution. You definitely don't want to be that.
No. He could be like Brantley Gainey last week, who was around every single crash and missed them all. Here we go for 5th. Palumbo down low. Lockett up high. Matichuk and Simard side by side further back. Logan and Bergert. The Tyler's going at it for 12th. As Palumbo nearly turned the 93 there. Lifted at just the right time to avoid a big one. But undeterred, he's right back to it on the bottom. Schlosser continues to close that gap. It's down to 2 truck lengths. We'll see how bad JKay wants Matt Schlosser to win an oval race. All of a sudden, mano a mano. Leo Smith just retired from the race. Not going to leave us with too many drivers left in this one.
Colombo's still battling with Lockett here.
Oh boy. They are 3 wide, nearly 4 wide further back.
As much as we want to watch this, we have to watch the battle for the lead. Matt Schlosser all over the Alabama red number 2, wanting to roll on through.
RandyCars.com being put to the test by the silent assassin. This is maybe the loudest driving from him we've ever seen.
Ooh, man, Schlosser sawing on the wheel. Kay in front of him also sawing a little bit. We're on board with Matt Schlosser, but we're going to throw JKay's camera up there as well so you can see the inputs from both of them at the same time.
Right on cue, there's Ali cheering on JKay.
Why don't we just overload him with graphics here? Why not? Schlosser falling back a little bit from John here. These two got to be careful not to rough their tires up too much here. Still 40-plus laps to go.
Oh, caution.
Caution's out. Oh, boy.
I'm not sure for what. I don't see anybody slow. Although the 84 did just drop to the tail here. He was down in the grass on the front stretch.
So let's take a look. We'll see if this is what it's for. As Jordan does get loose, does go down the racetrack, down in the grass. Oh, slides right on the bottom. I'm assuming that's what it was thrown for.
Yeah, there's not anything else I see on the track, and Jan Van Leer is the one that threw the caution, and he's going to take the lucky dog here as well, so he'll be back in the lead lap. That will break up the battle for the lead here as well, but JKay going to be the odd man out because he is the only driver that didn't come down pit road.
Wow.
Saving that last set with 40 to go.
I mean, possibility for some late race cautions here is very, very high. However, if JKay does come down pit road, none of these other drivers are going to, so that would mean John is going to have to work his way through traffic very quickly on a late race caution.
Hey, the Car Inside Tournament happening right now. Shout out to Mr. Nathan Reynolds. Thanks for hanging out with us. We've already had one advancement because of Andy Poliski dropping out from this one early. Brantley Gainey is through to round 2 already. Unless he turns negative 97 laps. And Greg Bradshaw also now out of the race, so that would put Brody Gunter through to round number 2 as well. And I think that is it for now. Actually, JKay is through as well, with Paul Sargent leaving us for caution number 3. And Eric Breeding is still out on track. He's 2 laps down. He has had a rough race, but he is still chugging along on the banana wagon. So the other matchup's still up for grabs. Remember, it's Palumbo versus Stearns, and they have been going at it for a lot of this race.
Yeah, they really
so
have.
that'll continue to be great. It's Zittel versus Breeding. Jan Van Leeren just got back into the lead lap versus Cole Maxwell, who was trapped a lap down. Rodney Matney is also... he's not out of this race yet, so we can't make that official, but Garrett Rainey is on the lead lap. So that's looking not in Rodney's favor currently. And Josh Freed and Zach Lockett, who have also been battling for the majority of this race as well. But Lockett right now in 5th, Freed in 3rd, and Matt Schlosser on fresh rubber on the outside of JKay. And John didn't sound particularly thrilled over the radio of the position that he's in right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would be. Oh,
and already back up the caution.
Hard into the wall.
And that is a lot of damage for the young one.
Certainly, wheels going to be out of alignment with that one.
And I don't think... I don't even think he had help. I think that just went around on him.
Let's take a look. Seems to be some confusion on what exactly happened with the 01 here. And you see him get loose on entry into the corner. Haven't really seen that a whole lot here. And just continues to have trouble with the handling as soon as that happens. Oh, and Pascal Samard is gonna... I mean, he has nowhere to go there.
That's like the 3rd week in a row. He's been the first one onto the scene of an unavoidable accident.
Oh, let's just go all the way to the restart here with the 01 and see if we can maybe decipher something. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think is there are some bumps there at the top of the racetrack. I guess maybe entering that high on fresh tires just upset the balance as he's turning down the racetrack. I mean, on awkward banking, that can happen. We just haven't really seen it happen tonight, which I think is why it was surprising to Brody.
Gunter likes to swoop from the top down to the bottom, and on cold tires, that may not always be advisable. I think that's my best shot at it, trying to armchair it.
No, I would tend to agree. I think that does tend to happen, especially with the track surface being cooler now at nighttime than it has been all day. Cool tires. Had a little bit of air taken away from him there with Steve Roman kind of getting up in front of him as well. There was just a number of things that led to that one, probably.
So John still in control of this race. Now Schlosser has the bottom, still on quite a bit fresher tires. I don't even think that would count as a heat cycle because they didn't even make it out of turn number 2. And I'm not sure it would matter either way. Reed and Stearns on row 2, Lockett and Peterson on row 3, Palumbo, Vroman, and Rainey and Gainey, of course. The battle we were robbed of on row number 5. But they have been battling a lot this race. That certainly made up for it.
And if we thought the last, that restart right around lap 120 was crazy, I mean, we've snuck up on almost 30 laps to go here. It is going to start getting chippy.
Austin Holyfield got the lucky dog. He's back in 17th now as we're back underway. Not a good start there for Schlosser, and here is Stearns to the outside to try and capitalize. This is the difference maker right here as crowds and a little netcode contact. Stearns is loose behind. Schlosser going to have some room to operate underneath now. It looked grim to start, but now the 04 is back on the front foot and on the attack for the race lead.
Schlosser's going to get right on through. Stearns trying to get clear of...
Around.
Oh, boy.
And that is a stack up. Vroman, Jan Van Leer, Garrett Rainey, Austin Holyfield, who just got back on the lead lap, Pascal Simard. Yikes.
Not sure Holyfield was really involved all that much. I think he just came to a stop to make sure he didn't get involved.
Well, he'd be about one of the only ones. But that started, I think, with the 39 of Josh Freed, who was challenging for a podium position, going around on the top side.
Well, here they are on the restart. Freed up here on the top. Peterson is going to be down below once we get to the corner. And Freed starts to get loose there. Lockett's checking up. Vroman's trying to keep from getting into the back of him, but Rainey doesn't see it coming. Rainey piles into the 00, who absolutely smashes into the 39. Tyler Logan, Josh Matichek. Man, Kyle Zittel, a lot of damage there as well. And you do see Holyfield way back here in the back. Oh, he does make a little bit of contact with Samar, but they were running pretty slow at that point. I have a feeling that's not going to be the last.
Well, if you're JKay, I'm sure you're hoping that we run all the way until about 5 to go, and then the caution comes out, and he could try and let that big dog eat. Maybe about 10 to go, so we actually have some time to slice and dice a little bit.
Yeah, he needs... I mean, he's just in a tough spot.
Very tough spot.
He really needed this to go green for a while and then have the cautions have a caution come out. He didn't really want to see 2 or 3 cautions all in a row, because now these drivers aren't putting a lot of wear on their tires. So I don't even think coming in on a late race caution is really going to give him that much of an advantage, because he's going to have to work through so many cars.
Well, these laps are ticking away regardless. And Matt Schlosser, who arguably was going to win this race anyway, has fought his way back up to the front. Now he'll have Chad Stearns, his teammate from last season. The 04 and the 05 will be on the front row here for the restart. And it has been a while since both of them have been to victory lane. Chad Stearns hasn't won since Michigan in Season 6. Schlosser took 2 victories in his rookie season, in season number 7, and has yet to go back to victory lane since. And he's never won on an oval. I actually think the lucky dog went to Eric Breeding, who was 2 laps down, but he wasn't involved in the accident like Cole Maxwell was. So Breeding back to 1 lap down now. How about that for the banana boat? Stern's backing up. Glosser in control on the bottom. JKay on the older tires trying to hang tough for as long as possible and hope for another caution somewhere down the road. Good launch here by the 04.
Oh my.
As Gunter and Vroman again. And this L1 is in tatters.
Steve Vroman's right front tires are not even on the ground.
It started ahead of Gunter. I think Jan Van Leer and Garrett Rainey had something to do with it as well. They all have damage. A couple other drivers involved there as well. But yeah, Vroman and Journeau got the worst of it. And that is caution number 8 for almost went below average, but didn't quite make it there.
And seeing this one unfold in slow motion, Rainey was down in front of Brody Gunter and got loose. Had to slow down, and Gunter got into the back of him, which caused Jan Van Leer to get into the back of Gunter. And then they're going up the racetrack while Journeau, Vroman, and others are trying to get through. And, I mean, that is just hard contact for all 4 of those drivers.
Hey, Pascal finally missed one. But, yeah, Jordan Journeau did not. That's the 3rd one or so that's landed right in his lap.
Yeah, it's a tough thing about, I mean, a lot of drivers feel like the outside gives them more options. If a driver dives down low, you can run the middle, or if they're kind of up high, you can run the top. You kind of have some different lanes to work with, but when an incident occurs, the cars or trucks that are involved in the incident typically tend to make their way up the racing surface first, and sometimes it just lands right in front of you.
Well, Cole Maxwell gets the lucky dog. So he's back on the lead lap. And Jan, despite all that damage ahead of him on track, still in the lead lap, and that's the driver that he's facing off with in the tournament here. So this will be very interesting. And I want to point out as well, Kyle Zittel now 2 laps down, and Eric Breeding is 1 lap down. Unbelievably, Eric Breeding is ahead of Kyle Zittel after the race that 26 truck has had. It's crazy. Boy, Chad Stearns did not get a good restart. Restarted in 2nd, dropped back to 3rd. And now will be stuck on the bottom behind JKay on the older tires with Hayden Palumbo to his outside. This is not where that 05 wants to be, for sure.
Yeah, the only good thing is I think Stearns has the tires and definitely has the talent to make a 3-wide move or kind of do what he needs to do to slice up JKay quickly. We'll see if he can get it done.
Stearns trying to lay back on this restart, and we'll give JKay a shot. Good start for Schlosser. Close it in on 20 to go. Palumbo going to clear the 05, and he'll go right to work on JKay for second.
No wreck out of 2 so far. Good start. Palumbo's going to go through on the bottom. He's not going to be able to clear John. And this is exactly what Schlosser wants. Side-by-side battling behind him. Palumbo will get clear now. 2 second. Oh, Stearns a little bit loose there on the bottom. JKay up into the wall. Schlosser extends it to about a second.
How about Holyfield and Samard battling for P10 after the races they've had? That's remarkable. Tyler Burgert running in P9 ahead of them. And a 1 second lead for Matt Schlosser over Palumbo as Stearns and Kay still battling for position. Peterson, Lockett, and Monticek all pulling up on this duo here in third and fourth.
Peterson's coming, and he's coming in a hurry, but can he make anything happen once he's here?
It's tough with him being too wide in front of you at this point in the race. I think there's only 19 drivers within 2 laps of the lead right now, so JKay can't fall too far in the standings. But I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself that he didn't find his way onto pit road, unless we do get that late race caution here. And he may be pretty pleased with himself.
Yeah, I think he needs it to come out in the next 6 laps. Otherwise, it'll probably be too little too late. He's holding his own decent here, but he's got a couple drivers that are pretty darn quick coming up behind him on fresher rubber. Zach Lockett's going to get to his inside here in the 93.
Ooh, boy, he was almost a caution there. Watching the lap time, Schlosser pulled 3/10 on Palumbo last time by.
Wow. Really tight between those two. Schlosser still over a 1.5 second gap up front.
Only a 10.5 that time.
Lockett and Kay still side by side, have not been able to settle this one. Oh, look at Monticek, a huge move down to the bottom of Lockett.
Sends it in on the inside of the 93. That will not work out for either of them in their pursuits for positions. At least not yet.
I think Monticek was tired of watching Lockett not able to get it done, thought that he might be able to blast on through.
Last 2 laps, Palumbo faster than Schlosser, 1 3/4 seconds, and Chad Stearns is right behind the 54 as well. We may not be done yet, coming to 11 to go.
Still the closest battle on the racetrack is Kay, Lockett, and Monticek, as Austin Holyfield has settled his battle with Pascal Samard for right now, finds himself in 10th, the number 10 truck does. The 93 and the 2 are still battling side by side.
Schlosser back to being faster than Palumbo. 1.8 seconds. '93 finally clear, but yeah, John going for it down low.
Wow, that is a big send.
Looking for a slider, maybe. He's
Oh,
going to pull it off. Lockett will cross him up, but I think John pulled it off.
That was a huge send from the two, but maybe a little bit too early.
Oh, Lockett going for one of his own, but he's not clear. These two are getting after it.
And Matichek really can't do anything about it. There's not a move for the 60 to make here. He just kind of has to sit back and watch. He might start getting impatient as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Coming to 7 to go. Chad Stearns is reeling in Hayden Palumbo here as well.
And the gap is exactly 2 seconds as they run. Stearns looking light on his feet, but he is pretty fast. Holyfield and Berger teammates might have a go for 9th.
And they will side by side for about a lap and a half now. The 10 and the 44 have been. They'll be side by side down into 3 as well.
5 laps to go for Matt Schlosser. Ooh, truck in the wall. It's Josh Freed. I think we're good to continue.
Yeah, Freed with some damage. He's been struggling, just trying to finish this one out.
He's not alone.
Holyfield finally clear of Berger. Berger probably going to go for the crossover here. No, puts the bumper.
Gives him a pile driver instead.
So that one's now settled. Matichek has gotten through on Lockett. And now is going to set his sights on JKay to try and get a top 5 here. Not much time left to do it. Brody Gunter going to put a bit of a wrench in things here. He's on fresh tires. Couple of laps down.
2 laps to go for Matt Schlosser. Just hoping to make it 0.8 of a mile back around. To the line, the 04. It's official. White flag. Palumbo gaining, but too little, too late. This is Schlosser's race to lose.
Oh, Matichek and Kay nearly make contact down in turns 1 and 2.
2 wins in his rookie season, but none since. It's the silent assassin's turn to win on an oval. Matt Schlosser is back to victory lane in the birthday bonanza. Palumbo, another 2nd place. Chad Stearns on the podium in 3rd. Stearns spots into Palumbo, trying to drift.
And Zach Lago is making a beeline through the field just to try and get the Schlosser for the congratulatory bump.
And to the Legends Oval we go. 177 total incident points across the field. That's just short track racing. 2 wins for Matt Schlosser. One at the boot layout of Watkins Glen, the other at Road America. He's been wanting an oval win in the truck in any series. He's run Max V. He's run Truck 200. But tonight in the Venom Truck Series, it will finally come to him. Long overdue, and I know we've said this a couple of times this season, but now that the monkey's off his back, look out.
Yeah, he's... I'm going to ask him in the interview, but he's on an absolute tear right now. You got to wonder the type of way he's feeling about his racecraft at the moment. It is he is on a pretty darn good run here at this point.
I was going to say, you think he wasn't pissed off that he lost the points lead from last week? Yeah, think again. Matt Schlosser going to take victory number 3 in his first in Season 7. Hayden Palumbo, a second consecutive runner-up finish for him. Chad Stearns back on the podium for the first time this season. Congrats to him. We'll hopefully talk to him and your top 2 finishers here momentarily. Luke Peterson, Preach, going to finish this race exactly where he started in 4th. JKay will finish in P5. It will be a 6th place finish for Joshua Matichek, 7th for Zach Lockett, 8th for Brantley Gainey, Austin Holyfield in 9th, and Tyler Bergert in P10. That is the first top 10 of the season for Tyler Bergert, and I believe that is the second top 10 of the season for Austin Holyfield, so nicely done to those two. Pascal Simard with his second best finish of the season in P11, and Cole Maxwell will bring it home in P12, and he will advance on in the tournament. We'll give you the full results of that here momentarily as well, but nicely done for Maxwell to pull the upset off on his team boss, Jan Van Leer, who will finish 1 spot behind him in 13th. Tyler Logan will finish in 14th. Josh Freed, 1 down in 15th. Eric Breeding will finish 1 lap down in 16th. All things considered, not too bad considering how the night started. Garrett Rainey, 2 down in 17th. Kyle Zittel, 2 down in 18th. Britta Gunter running in P19 at the end of this one. Likewise for Rodney Matney in 20th. But I believe DNFs from here on out. Steve Roman, 21st. Jordan Jorneau, 22nd. Leo Smith, 23rd. Greg Bradshaw, Gary Clark, your top 25. Paul Sargent, 26th. And Andy Poliski in 27th. Josh Jackson never got to turn a lap in tonight's race before he lagged out of the session. So, we're going to wait a beat to see if Chad Stearns will arrive. It's usually a jump ball whether or not we get the 05. He's probably already in an official race, if we're being honest.
Which way is the possession arrow pointing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we got him last time, so maybe we're not going to get him this time. So that will give me a chance to see how this one shook out in the bracket. We've got Hayden Palumbo by 1 spot over Chad Stearns. Of course, JKay was already through. Eric Breeding will defeat Kyle Zittel. How about that?
That is crazy.
Cole Maxwell over Jan Van Leer. Brantley Gainey over Andy Poliski, the early retirement for the 32. Garrett Rainey, I think, is going to beat Rodney Matney. Indeed, he is. So Garrett with the upset over Rodney. And with troubles late, man, they raced so hard for so long in this race. Teammates Josh Freed and Zach Lockett, but Freed with problems being the last caution there. That will put Zach Lockett through to round number 2. So I'm not sure we're going to get the 05. We'll go ahead and start with second place then for the second week in a row with Hayden Palumbo, this time on the short track in Iowa. Good stuff from you as always. Congrats on another strong run tonight.
Yeah, it was good. A lot more. I honestly, I wasn't racing for the win there. I was racing Chad because we're facing off in the bracket, and I was more focused on beating him than I was trying to catch Matt, and I knew I wasn't going to get a long green flag run there at the end, so it was kind of top priority to beat Chad, so panned out.
Yes, it certainly did, but not by much. Boy, you two, you and JKay as well, and Chad Stearns, really, it didn't feel like left each other's side that entire race. I mean, that had to be pretty exhausting just because of the caliber of driver that you were battling against there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Chad's great. And then it's hard to pass on the bottom. Like, you can carry so much more momentum around the top, and I ran the bottom, I think, the whole night. And you just you can't carry any momentum off of it, and it kind of kept me in a bad spot. Pretty much everybody I was passing the whole night, but I think I saved tire a little bit better, and that benefited me, in those long runs. But yeah, I'm pleased with the finish there.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats. I mean, it was a great run for you again here tonight. You typically do well at these types of racetracks. I would have to assume this is one that you probably had quite a bit of confidence coming into here tonight.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't practice really at all. I just kind of jumped into, the session practice before it. We qualified and all, and I knew I'd have pace. I short track race really well, so I was, just moderately, I'd say, confident that I'd have at least top 10 run. But, I'm more than pleased to finish second, so.
And that is your third podium finish of the season, your second in a row. You are off and running here and in a great position points-wise after round number 6 as well. You got to be feeling pretty confident about the rest of the season.
I do. We just got to keep it rolling. I'm going to have to practice quite a bit for next week, so I think we're going to Daytona, if I'm correct, Michigan. I just keep the momentum and keep the ones circled that I need to run well at, and just keep the truck on the track is ideal right now. I've got the win, and I got a pretty good points, lead to people that I'll be racing, I feel like, for a championship. So we'll see how it pans out.
Well, great stuff here tonight, as always. Thanks for the time. Let's get some shout-outs for you before we let you go.
Well, shout out you guys. Shout out, I guess, mom and dad. I don't know if they're watching or not, but I think the wife and her family may be watching too. I'm not 100% certain, but the Alabama Gang guys and Super Kit guys, and then racing with the whole crew. It's always fun, and it's challenging. It's definitely hard to win these things, but they make it worth it when you do, and it's always a pleasure. So I guess I'll see y'all next week, hopefully.
Sounds like a plan, partner. We'll hope to talk to you again in Michigan.
All right, later.
And now, the long-awaited Oval Victory Lane interview from Matt Schlosser, driver number 04. Wow, what a night for you here tonight. You were not going to be denied here tonight at Iowa. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, finally the Oval win. Feels really good. It was one of those nights where things were really going my way, and then Pitt's strategy kind of put me back, but luckily I was able to race back up there and get back to the lead and control the race. And yeah, it was just everything worked out. It was an awesome race.
Yeah, the deck truly being stacked against you there multiple times. To start the race, having a battle with Brody Gunter is never easy. He got the best of you there early. You guys get mismatched on the pit strategy through a couple of cautions there. You fall a lap down, don't get the lucky dog, but then end up getting to pass him back under the yellow because of some shenanigans with the lucky dog, have to blast through a bunch of lap traffic and make your way to the front again. So many momentum swings here tonight. You had to feel like you were on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it definitely was a fun roller coaster ride, and then a very unpleasant roller coaster ride, and then a very fun one at the end. And it was awesome racing with everybody. John and I had a hell of a battle near the front. I feel for him because being the leader with 30 laps to go or whatever it is, like you're liable to get everyone's going to do the opposite. And he stayed out. I pitted, and everyone came with me, and he was kind of like stuck with bad tires, but he still had a good finish, I think. But yeah, and then it was cool racing up there with Chad Stearns and Hayden. Hayden was obviously really good at Kern, so I was thinking he might have been able to get to me there, but luckily I was able to hang on. But yeah, it was a hell of a race. I had a blast, and I'm so thankful to check the box for the Oval win for sure.
The society's eating good here tonight. Matt, what you got?
Yeah. Congrats. The Oval win feels like it's been a long time coming for sure, and not only wins. You've been racking up some of those recently, but you're just getting good finishes, even when it seems like you're kind of, I don't want to say down and out, but just at a bit of a disadvantage. Things don't quite go as you hoped they would throughout a race. You still managed to get yourself into at least a podium position, it seems like, as of late. I mean, from trucks to Xfinity cars, seems like everything. You're just on a big roll right now. I mean, is it just a lot of confidence in what you're doing? Is it a lot of practice? I mean, what is contributing to the massive success you're having so far in 2025?
I appreciate that. Honestly, I think I get into like rhythms here and there. Like it's sometimes like I just have some good races strung together, and like confidence is always a good thing. Today when I was back in traffic, I started to have doubts that I could get back to the front, and then I just kind of thought like, all right, I can do this. Like, you know, I just have to put my head down and figure out how to get back up there. And you know, when you're in a kind of a rut, if you're having bad races, it's easy to kind of like pack it in and just say it's not your day. But even if it's a placebo or it's not a tangible thing, just being able to stack up good results just helps you believe that you can keep doing it. And you know, getting wins, especially on oval tracks in this league, you know, wins don't come easy, and if you can put yourself in the top 3 and 5 enough, you know, it's going to be your day eventually. So today it worked out, and it was a good lucky day and also a fun day, and happy to make it happen.
Yes, like Matt said, long overdue. We've been expecting this one for a while, especially like he says, you're absolutely on a tear right now. So great stuff from you here tonight. It's career start number 42, win number 3, but the first one in an oval, and you take the first career pole as well. So big night for the 04 team. Let's get some shout outs for you here from Victory Lane before we let you go.
Yeah, shout out to Venom, all the drivers, everybody on the league council and admin team. Shout out to my satellite teammates over at 939. Shout out to Turn 200. And yeah, also, if you're just another plug, a little harmless plug, if you're a fan of jumpy truck racing, tune in Friday night for special stage jumpy trucks at Crandon. Should be a good time. So hopefully I can carry the momentum into that, because last week I got obliterated. So hopefully this week I can at least run some laps and have a good time at my own party. So we'll see how that goes.
Did we get the big long grass run on the standing start at Crandon? Is that the place for that?
I hope so. Yeah. If not, maybe we'll have to pull some strings, but because that's awesome. So that should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Jumpy truck's always fun on a Friday night, but winning always fun on a Tuesday night. It's been a while since you got it done, but Matt Schlosser is the man here tonight. Congrats, go celebrate, go party hard, and we'll hopefully talk to you again on Friday.
All right, thank you. Take care.
And if we don't talk to him again on Friday, we have a chance to talk to him again on Monday. We're back to Iowa for Truck 200 in round number 2 of the Chase on Monday nights. And if we don't talk to him there, we can talk to him next week in Michigan. That is where the Venom Truck Series will roll into next week for the Layton River Ellison Memorial Race for the Venom Truck Series. Matt, what an interesting night here tonight. And I think that is the exact phrasing that you used in your intro. We may not be in for a good race, but we're in for an interesting race. I would say it was good, but it was also very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. We had like a couple of pretty good green flag runs there where it seemed like this thing was just going to continue green from lap 30 on out, and all of a sudden you get one caution to fly, and then everybody's bunched back up together and feeling the sense of urgency, and have, you know, quite a few cautions there all in a row. Kind of jumbled things up. That one caution really messed strategy up for a lot of these drivers, as some drivers had either just come down pit road or were literally on pit road as a caution came out. So there were just a lot of weird, interesting, but yet ended up being a great race in the end anyways. So yeah, it was a great time here on a Tuesday, as it always is, and drivers always putting their best foot forward, trying their best, and it always brings us good stuff. So yeah, thanks to the drivers for tuning in, for showing up on the racetrack. Thank you to everybody else that was tuning in and in the chat. John K here at the end was in the chat. Stickers McQueen, Zach Lockett, Robin Monachek, Jordan Jorno. That is Nathan Reynolds with Car Inside. Thank you to Nathan. Allie Hill cheering on Sean. Ryan Dye at State Line Sim Racing. Flinky Roberts in the chat here tonight as well. Always great to have Flinky in the chat with us here. Bailey Marie Modicek. Tommy cheering on Brantley Gainey. No, that's not Tommy Cook. That is a different Tommy. Lisa Kelly cheering on Tyler Berger. I think that was it. So thank you guys for tuning in and cheering on your favorite drivers. Always appreciate it. And congrats again to Matt Schlosser, a Society of Matt's member, getting the dub here tonight.
I do want to point out, I was cheering for Brantley Gainey, but I didn't put it in the comments, so we'll just settle that right now. Thursday night, we are racing Max V, round number 2 of their first season of 2025 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's the new version, and it's at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You heard from Matt Schlosser a minute ago. It's Special Stage Pro Truck Series from Crandon, rounds number 5 and 6 of their season. That'll start 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Friday night. We're back to racing at Iowa here on Monday night. It is the This Was My Birthday 200 presented by Tree on the House and JKay Gaming. I'll give you one guess as to who named that one and why they named it that way. It'll be 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one, and that will lead us into the Layton River Ellison Memorial next Tuesday night from Michigan. Here on Turn 200 for the Venom Truck Series, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for that one, and that will be the continuation of the Car Inside in-season tournament. And if you missed it earlier, JKay has advanced, so is Hayden Palumbo, Eric Breeding, Cole Maxwell, Brantley Gainey, Garrett Rainey, Zach Lockett, and Brody Gunter. And maybe this time we can get the godforsaken Brantley Gainey versus Garrett Rainey matchup that we so desperately want here on the channel. Make it happen, bracketology. But we'll see how it all shakes out. But those are the drivers that advance into next week's competition. That's all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us. And thank you to everybody with the Venom Truck Series. Thanks to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. Until we meet again from Iowa Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long. And congrats to Matt Schlosser on a long-awaited first career oval victory, his third with the Venom Truck Series.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.